welcome to the 8th bonus video in the 20 years of MCF celebration. I'm MCFPapa. For this top 10 list, I'm gonna be ranking my favorite non-villain characters. The only criteria for this is they can't be an antagonist in the series. So even if they aren't necessarily morally good, they can appear on the list as long as they aren't actively against the Master Detective. And all the people I list here are characters I would love to see return in some future MCF entries. Number 10, Lucky the Lightning Bug. Yes, I am being serious. There was Mac in Moths to a Flame who was kind of similar, but Mac turned out to be evil and made by the archivist. Lucky's just a helpful little guy we pieced together in the riddle of Mrs. Bishop, saving him from Angelica Morgan's cruel act of breaking him. In my opinion, he's the cutest looking character in the whole series. We even see in Fragments of Truth that he now works for the MCF agency as a little guy helping out around their lab. Number 9, Evelyn Ravenhurst. It's cool to have a character who's established as the boss of the MCF agency. It only took him 25 entries to introduce one. Or, if you count Agent X, just 4 entries and 1 spin-off game. Plus, it's cool that she's a living descendant of Emma Ravenhurst, like firmly establishing the good that we did in the Dalamar Legacy by allowing Emma to have descendants. It's nice to have a recurring character from the agency besides just the Master Detective. I'm listing her here even though we last saw her being controlled by Angelica Morgan. However, I don't consider her to be an antagonist because she's not consciously being a villain herself, just being controlled by someone else. So fingers crossed that we manage to save her in the house that love built, and they don't try to kill her off or make her actually turn evil a la Gwendolyn and Charlotte. I want her to continue to be a character and have even more roles in the future of MCF. Number 8, Ulf the Mistwalker. I love his grizzled appearance, like he's seen a lot of stuff in his life around Dire Grove. He's the leader of the Mistwalker clan, but he's a lot more considerate, fair, and even a bit more friendly compared to some of the others, open to hearing multiple perspectives. Plus, he's able to control animals and make snowstorms appear. What's not to like about that? That's really cool. Number 7, Travis Cooter Landry. It was so funny the first time I played 13th Skull and tried to go up to Cooter's house when he started shooting at me. It's just so unexpected, but really funny. For being a redneck, he's quite informative about the lore of Phineas Crown and a lot more helpful than some of the other characters in the game. And it may be crude, but I still think it's hilarious that while other characters will give various annoyed comments when you click on them when they have nothing to say, Cooter will just burp and fart a lot.
Ooh, that smells like gumbo.
Number 6, Benjamin Wright. He's a great ally for the Master Detective and a nice help to us in Broken Hour. That being said, I like his rewind design a whole lot better than his Broken Hour one. He nicknames us MD as a short, snappy way to refer to the Master Detective, and I really enjoy this because saying the Master Detective over and over again in all the videos I'm doing here really makes me realize just how wordy it is to say Master Detective, Master Detective, Master Detective over and over and over again. In any other media, you'd think MD was a nickname for a doctor, but us MCF fans know the real use of that term. I also like how he's aspiring to be part of the Ghost Patrol and would love to see him finally become a full-fledged member someday. However, if we're gonna talk about the Ghost Patrol, number 5, Jack Talent, host of Ghost Patrol. He's a perfect parody of ghost hunters, acting like a tough guy with tattoos and eyeliner, but getting scared at the sound of falling pipes. In Shadow Lake, where most of the game's characters were just okay or serviceable, he really stands out as a great character in my opinion. And I wish they had made more than just 2 videos featuring him in the game. I wanted to see more of Ghost Patrol antics while filming their show. Number 4, Allison Sterling. She's easily the best of the 4 student characters we see in Dire Grove, and I like how she's, as just a college student, far smarter than the dismissive museum archaeologist who's presumably been in the field for at least a decade or more. Even though we don't actually talk to her in Dire Grove, it still feels good to rescue her in the game. And it was nice to see her again in the Black Veil, probably the best part of that game. And last but not least, remember, she is the farmer, she is the farmer, she is the farmer. Number 3, Emma Ravenhurst. In Ravenhurst, we piece together her diary and get a great view into her mindset and the tragedy of her naivete where she can't see the danger of Charles until it's too late. While she didn't have that big of a role in Return and Escape from Ravenhurst, her appearance in the Dalamar Legacy makes up for it because we worked to give her a proper happy life free from Dalamar's clutches, so she doesn't wind up spending a century locked in the Ravenhurst basement. That's not much of an afterlife. Number 2, Madame Fate. I love so much about Madame Fate, how she exudes a mysterious fortune teller aura, how she cracks funny jokes at learning all her carnies are gonna die, and how she talks with the Master Detective throughout her game, giving both positive and negative reinforcement to us. In Fate's Carnival, it's nice to lay her soul to rest and have her ascend, I guess, to heaven. And we also see in Fate's Carnival she has a cute pet cat named Isis, who was my favorite non-humanoid character for a long time, before eventually Isis was supplanted by Lucky. Sorry, Isis. Before I get to number 1, here are a couple of honorable mentions. Pierce Hart and 101101 from Prime Suspects. I love both of these characters and I would love to see him return, but I can't in good conscience put either of them on the list because they each have a 5% chance to be a villain in Prime Suspects. Number 1, Fabiano, the world's strongest man. Gee, I wonder who possibly could have guessed that he was my favorite character. Of all the carnies, Fabiano seems the most friendly to me. Dr. Goodwell looks friendly, but he's trying to sell his snake oil to us. Marlena seems friendly, but she's just a woman in a fake fish costume. Fabiano is the real deal, smiling as he's able to effortlessly make chains shatter around him by just flexing his muscles. In Fate's Carnival, they gave him a Russian accent, which works well for his strongman persona. And even though you could say he has far less of a personality since he doesn't even get a voice in his initial appearance. I love his character design the most and have thought this way ever since the first time I played Madame Fate. So for those reasons, I'm putting him at number 1. That's it for this top 10. Hope you enjoyed my thoughts on ranking characters. Honestly, I'd say this was probably the toughest top 10 list to even figure out who gets placed at what number. I had a lot of shifting them around, and I'm not even sure about some of my placements, but just know that, like I said at the beginning, I hope to see more appearances of all of these characters at some point in the MCF series. Some of them are more likely to come back than others, but I'd like all of them to show up at some point. So like and subscribe if you want. I'll see you tomorrow for the next bonus video.